Hello, good evening, namaskaram. How are you guys doing? Could you please quickly confirm if I'm audible and visible? Once I know that I'm live, I can begin. In the meanwhile, assuming that I'm live, I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Karishma, and I am your VARC educator at Unacademy. And I have been trying my best to help you improve your RCs, and we've done a lot of sessions on various articles of various genres, trying to get used to eclectic reading so that whatever comes in the exam, we are just a pro at everything. This month, we are trying to do something different. So I did vocab questions from previous year questions in the last session with you. Today, I'm doing Parajumbles with you. We're also expecting to do a session on 2020 CAT analysis. I have also done an introductory session for 2022 aspirants. So please check that out. The link to my playlist is in the description box below. To check out the classes that I'm offering this month and in October, also you can visit my profile, the link to which is mentioned in the description box below as well. In order to stay tuned to an academy catalyst and not miss any videos that we are uploading, please subscribe to the channel. So now that we are live, we're going to do what you guys hate the most or maybe like the most. One very welcome change that I have seen in plus classes at least is that most of you have started looking at parajumbles as a challenge. So the time has come where we take our preparation to another, a notch up, and we're going to do tough questions. Today I have previous year questions for you. We'll have a short 20-25 minute session full of practice, and we'll discuss the answers, and I'll correct you wherever you go wrong. These are the free classes that I'm offering this month. So on Saturday, we have a para-based questions class. On next Saturday, we have a practice session where we are going to do questions of all, variety. And on 21st also, you have a session which is based on CAT as well as OMETs. Let me quickly select the pen from here. Yeah. And these are the plus courses that I'm running these days. So today you have your NMAT class with me at 7:30, full of fun and practice. A critical reasoning course, which is going on Saturday, 6 to 7. The final lab course, which will go until November. And for the month of October, the batch for 2022 starts on October 2nd, whereas for IFT 2021 starts on in the last week of October. Let's do our first question for the day. And before the first question, a very quick 30-second revision. So while you're solving a parajumble, you will concentrate on understanding the paragraph. All right. So comprehension is key. Without understanding the passage, you cannot solve a parajumble. In fact, you cannot even solve a para summary or a para completion. तो अगर समझ नहीं आ रहा है, if you're unable to comprehend, if you're unable to understand, just skip the question, okay? You have to get your mandatory pairs right. It's important that your pairs go right. If your pairs are going wrong, obviously you will lose the battle. You don't have to be lazy thinking like school, oh, this is English, English mein no rough work. This is not English, this is verbal abilities based on logic, it's based on making pairs. You have to work on your worksheet, on the pen and paper that's given to you. The idea flow is ideally general to specific. If there is an exception, we'll deal with the question there and there. There is no negative mark in these questions of parajumbles. Theta. Theta is type in the answer. Okay, so we call them theta. Whereas RCs are MCQs, multiple choice questions. So now that you have theta questions, which means you're not losing any marks, make sure that you attempt these questions. But there is a but. And that but is that you should not spend more than 90 seconds in one parajumble in the exam at the most. बहुत दिल पर पत्थर रख के I'm telling you 100 seconds बस इससे ज्यादा नहीं. If you spend more time than this, it means the question is difficult and it's a landmine and you shouldn't be stepping on it. It's a wrong choice. So whatever your fair guess is, just type it and go ahead. It's very important that you keep a close eye on the watch or the timer on your screen. Let's do the first question. Come on now. Give me the answers as soon as possible. All right, answers please. 4-3-1-2, 4-1-2-3-1, 4-3-2-3, 4-3-2-3, 4-1-2, वाह वाह वाह, मजे आ गए. अरे कहीं तो अग्री करो. नो आंसर हैज अ क्लियर मेजोरिटी. No, you've chosen the wrong introduction. Okay, let's see. So Jenny Taylor walks through the moonlit cemetery. Walks is the simple present tense. Past grey tombstones, faded bouquets, and left behind remembrances until she comes to her husband's grave. So this is describing an action, all right, and it's the sentence is written in a simple present tense. Then it says she kneels, झुक जाती है, घुटने के बल बैठती है in the damp grass and begins to cry. Tomorrow will be future tense. Their 16th wedding anniversary. Their means Janie Taylor and the husband. Her first without him. So the husband is no more. Nearly a year has passed since Brent was killed in Afghanistan on his fourth combat deployment. So if you start making the pairs, what are the pairs here? Some of you have given the right answer now. I think a good introduction is one rather than four because then you are talking about Brent in the fourth sentence as if you already know him. If fourth for the introduction, you should have written something like Mr. Brent Taylor. तब वो एक अच्छा इंट्रोडक्शन कहलाता. बट यहाँ पर लिखा है सिंस ब्रेंट. दिस गिव्स यू अ हिंट दैट who is Brent must have been introduced in some other sentence. So where has the word Brent been introduced? It has been introduced in the first sentence. यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है Janie Taylor's husband. So Jenny Taylor is introduced, Brent is not introduced. This should give you a hint that what is the introduction in 1 versus 4. 1 is the introduction. So I can put an I here. So Jenny Taylor walks through the moonlit cemetery, past grey tombstones, faded bouquets, and left behind remembrances until she come to her husband's grave. अभी grave पर आई है तो फिर husband की बात करेंगे. 1 year has passed since Brent, who the husband, noun pronoun link. Here, in fact, it's not a noun pronoun link, it's a proper noun, common noun link. So, proper noun is Brent, and then her husband is common noun. The word husband is a common noun. Was killed in Afghanistan on his fourth combat deployment. फिर वो क्या करती है? She kneels in the damp grass and begins to cry. Why? Because tomorrow will be their 16th wedding anniversary, her first without him. That's also a good conclusion. It's written in the future tense, and that gives you a hint that this could be a good conclusion. Chronology has to be kept in mind. So, therefore, the answer will be 1, 4, 2, and 3. It's a good question. Many of you have written 1, 4, 3, 2, which means you did not concentrate on the fact that will be, which is future, will come afterwards. Also, 4, 2 comes together, and then you can write 3 in the end. You cannot write 3 in the middle. Okay, so 3, 2 नहीं आएगा कि कल wedding anniversary और आज रो रही है क्यों? क्योंकि कल वेडिंग एनिवर्सरी है. Okay, so you have to keep the tenses in mind. This question would have been right if you paid attention to tenses and chronology. I don't think there are any comprehension issues in this question. It's very easy. Let's go ahead and do the next one. You can also know me in the let me know in the comment section if you are ready to do some score booster practice in the month of October. So what I'm planning is 20-minute sessions on every alternate day. We're going to do like 5, 7 good solid questions, and then that's all. So that's my plan. If you have any suggestions or if you like this, please let me know via the comments. Not the live chat, the comment section. Come on, let's try this one. Start making the pairs very quickly. Yep, RCs is definitely on the list. All right. Answers coming in. What about the remaining students? Hurry up, hurry up. Shabash. Very good. So what is the pair here? What is the pair here? Deliberate and systematic liquidation of a company to avoid liabilities and then restarting the business is called phoenixing. Yes, companies in many countries routinely engage in such activities. कौन सी activities? ये phoenixing वाली. Which means that the employees are left with unpaid entitlements. So 3-2 is a pair. 3 is the introduction. Then you give an example. The Australian Minister for Revenue and Services discovered in an audit that phoenixing had cost the Australian economy between 2.9 and 5.1 billion last year. It was his taxpayers who had to shell out. His matlab kaun? Australian minister, mandatory pay, who had to shell out as much as 1.6 billion, blah, blah, blah. Easy question. Most of you, I think all of you have gone right. Fantastic. Let's go ahead. Good question. All right. Surbi, I think you've gone wrong with the pairs. Lata's giving the same answer. Okay. I want more answers very quickly. Okay. You guys have gotten confused between the introduction. So when you get confused with the introduction, you start with making pairs. What is the strongest pair in this question? All right, let's do this. I think the best introduction in this sentence is three. Why? Because you cannot have an introduction with they. Doesn't make sense. And when you read three, it says like the dieter who would rather do anything to lose weight than actually eat less. खाना कम नहीं खाएंगे बाकी आप जो बोल लीजिए ग्रीन टी पिला दीजिए शिलाजीत पिला दीजिए I don't know green coffee okay um, honey instead of sugar, all those fancy things, avocados and berries, not concentrating on eating less, doing everything else which will not work. The business elite, that's the noun, जिसके लिए they लगा हुआ है. This is the pronoun. They कौन? Business elite. Would save the world through social impact, investing and philanthrocapitalism. This is the introductory sentence because you cannot write two and one before this. So let's put a small I here. Okay. Now, a lot of you have written four. I'll clarify this. Doing the right thing and moving away from their win-win mentality. Now, who's their? Would involve real sacrifice. Instead, it's easier to focus on their pet projects and initiatives. How is this the intro then? You're talking about business elite. We'll place three as the first one. I hope you understood your error. There's no point in attending this session if you can't find out कि मुझसे ये गलती हुई है, this is where I go wrong, and you improve that in the coming mocks and improve. That's the purpose here. Okay. So three is the introduction. I hope this is clear. So after three, what should come? What is the idea given in three? Actual काम नहीं करेंगे. You will not do what is the final central thing to losing weight, but you're doing everything else. So therefore, what will come after this? Two will come after this. They would fund a million, who? The business elite, of the buzzwordy programs rather than fundamentally question the rules of the game or alter their own behavior. भाई मैं कम खाना नहीं खाती. I'm not altering my own behavior. I'm not reducing the harm. So the analogy of the dieter versus the business elite, which was introduced in three, has been elaborated in two. So that's the mandatory pair of the existing distorted, inefficient, and unfair rules. So that solves half the question. Okay. तो फिर करना क्या चाहिए अभी वन और फोर को प्लेस करना है इफ यू प्लेस वन एंड फोर यू विल सी दैट फोर्थ इज द ब्रॉडर आइडिया सो फोर कम्स फर्स्ट डूइंग द राइट थिंग एंड मूविंग अवे फ्रॉम देयर विन विन मेंटालिटी वुड इन्वॉल्व सैक्रिफाइस ना कम खाना खाना पड़ेगा सैक्रिफाइस मांगता है इट्स इजियर टू फोकस ऑन देयर पेट प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड इनिशिएटिव छोटा मोटा काम करा लो फिलैंथ्रोपी करा लो गिल्ट कम करा लो okay they would rather will come afterwards. It's like saying, oh, that coffee is for 250 bucks. I would rather make coffee on my own. You can't write I would rather make coffee on my own and then say this is worth 250 bucks, right? So grammatically also there is a hint here. If you missed out on it, you have to concentrate. They would rather do virtuous side projects assiduously, which means full of hard work, as long as these would not compel them into doing their day jobs more honorably or reducing their profit margin. By profit kam nahi karunga, और कोई ऑनर के साथ अपना रोज का काम नहीं करूंगा. छोटा मोटा साइड प्रोजेक्ट करा लो. साइड प्रोजेक्ट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम वेयर? पेट प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड इनिशिएटिव्स ब्रॉड. छोटा साइड प्रोजेक्ट. पहले डूइंग द राइट थिंग, फिर rather वाला सेंटेंस. दिस विल एक्सप्लेन by 4-1 and not 1-4. So 3-2-4-1. The idea that I'm trying to teach you here is that stop always saying, I know this happens in one question out of five questions, but not always, कि अरे मेरा तो एक पेयर बन जाता है बाकी सब नहीं समझ आता, या पैराजम्बल्स आर जस्ट रिडिकुलस एंड आई कांट सॉल्व देम. You need to concentrate. There is that you missed something, something that the teacher did not miss, or something that the examiner or whatever book you are doing the author did not miss. Start picking up on those cues कि मुझसे क्या मिस होता है, where do I go wrong. Once you know where you are going wrong, the diagnosis is correct, you'll cure yourself, right? Let's go to the next question. Sanket, you can do my vocabulary course from my profile. November and February, both the courses are same. There is also an advanced vocab course on my profile. You can watch that. Parajumbles skill also you can do my theory course and practice course. You go to my profile, you'll find everything there. All right, and start coming to the classes. We are practicing Parajumbles and vocabulary every day. And MAT ke liye, CAT ke liye. The questions don't change, yeah. So you can come in any class and practice. Mm, no. A couple of you, yes, but yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm not revealing the answer yet. Akshita and video trailer and Lavanya. Intro. Intro check करो. राजेश्वरी, किरण, intro check करो. सुप्रभात, intro check करो. आर्यन, intro check करो. Very doable. Very doable. हाँ. Self management is thus defined. तो ये तो intro हो ही नहीं सकता. Unless the other sentences give us a hint, but otherwise no. This is more of a conclusion. कुछ समझाएंगे फिर कहेंगे self management is thus defined. Most people with progressive diseases like dementia, forgetting things, Alzheimer's, etc., prefer to have control over their own lives and healthcare for as long as possible. That's the introduction. Having control means भी समझाया हुआ है, तो ये तो intro नहीं होगा. क्योंकि यहाँ क्या लिखा है? Patients. कौन से patients? Progressive diseases like dementia वाले पे. This is also not the intro. Supporting people in decision actions that promote self-management is called self-management support. Now, if self-management is explained here, is thus लिखा है. फिर यहाँ लिखा है supporting people is known as self-management support. It means fourth is an idea which is supplementary or additional to one. Do you understand what I'm saying? Supporting people in decisions and actions that promote self-management is called self-management support. आगे क्या लिखा है? तो ये पहली बात तो ये कि ये सप्लीमेंट कर रहा है फर्स्ट वाले आइडिया को, एडिशन कर रहा है. Requiring a cooperative relationship between the patient. How is this the introduction? The family and the professionals. Who? Which patient? Heart patient, dil toota patient. Patient is given here. How is fourth the introduction? ठीक है, तो ये गलती नहीं चलेगी. 14 सितंबर को नहीं चलेगी. जून जुलाई में करते तो माफी थी. So the introduction here is two. Most people with progressive diseases like dementia prefer to have control over their own lives and healthcare for as long as possible. So even if, God forbid, I forget things and I am a dementia patient, I would still like to remain in control of my life. I don't want support from people. Now, what does having control mean? Mandatory pair है. यहाँ लिखा है मेरे को control चाहिए. कैसा control? दुनिया को control. Having control means that the patients themselves can perform their self-management activity. अपना काम खुद से कर सकें. इसके बाद क्या आएगा? Self-management is thus defined as the individual's ability to manage the symptoms, treatment, physical, psychosocial consequences, lifestyle changes. सब कुछ जो इस क्रोनिक कंडीशन के साथ सिचुएटेड है, मैं खुद खुद को ठीक करना चाहती हूँ. मेरे को खुद मैनेज करना है अपने सिम्टम एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. इंडिविजुअल की एबिलिटी. सो 3-1 is also a pair. And then finally, Supporting people in decisions and actions that promote self management is called self management support, requiring a cooperative relationship between the patient, the family, and the professionals. Also, we are talking about new things here. देखो, family or professionals have new ideas. This should give you a hint कि ये conclusion है because this has not been discussed anywhere in the remaining three sentences. So 4 is a conclusion, 2 is the intro, 3 1 is a pair, 1 4 is a pair, 1 cannot be the intro. There are hints everywhere in the question. So is the question difficult or am I missing out on something? The answer is yes to the latter question. I am missing out on something that I shouldn't have missed out on. Now that I know my problem, I'm going to correct it in the coming questions. All right? चलिए इसी affirmation के साथ let's go to question number 5. This is also CAT 18. I have forgotten to write here. Hanji, answers please. Only Tanvi has tried it. All right. Difficult? You will need to understand the question to be able to do it. Okay, good try. Come on, 30 seconds, hurry up. Shabash. Suddenly, some drilling has started in my neighborhood. Please forgive me if it is noisy. Just two more questions. All right, let's do this. In the era of smart world, I'll explain this a little in detail. In the era of smart world, you guys are correct with your intros, absolutely. However is the transition word here. मतलब contrast दिखाना है. There is some contrast because however is written. Universal basic income is an ineffective instrument, negative, which cannot address the potential breakdown of the social contract when large swathes is like groups, large groups of the population, okay, would effectively be unemployed. Smart world के era में, in the times of smartness, universal basic income is not working. It's not effective. And it does not address the problem of potential breakdown. किस चीज का breakdown of the social contract? Social contract is how the society and the government are behaving with one another and among themselves. Because large groups of population are then unemployed. So this is a negative point. In the era of industrial revolution, now if you see industrial revolution and smart world can mean the same thing also. The abolition of child labor, poor laws, and the growth of trade unions helped families cope with the pressures of mechanized work. छोटा सा grammar cope के साथ with लगता है, up नहीं लगता है, ये ध्यान रखना. NMAT में बहुत question आते हैं preposition के. So cope with is correct, cope up is wrong. With the pressures of mechanized work. So now this says that child labor got abolished in industrial revolution because labor is not required. Industrial revolution means machines are working. The poor laws also went away. The growth of trade unions happened. And this is what helped families cope with the pressure of mechanical work, mechanized work. This is a tariff, positive. Growing inequality, negative again. Growing inequality could be matched by a creeping authoritarianism. Authoritarianism is dictatorship. I have taught this to you multiple times. That is bolstered, I have taught this as well, supported or boosted by technology that is increasingly able to peer into the deepest vestiges of our lives. Inequality is increasing, yeah, and there is dictatorship. The government has more control over our lives. And the technology helps them get more control in our lives because then they get into the deepest parts of our lives. This is also a negative sentence. New institutions emerge which recognize ways in which workers could contribute to and benefit by economic growth when their jobs are automated. This is redundant. ये तो अभी बात ही नहीं है कि if the jobs will get automated. We all know that jobs will get automated. You might not need a teacher tomorrow. There will be a robot teaching you. The thing is that what do we do when that happens? It's not about if that happens anymore. So 4 is the introduction. I think everybody has gone right till here. Correct. Most of you are correct. Shabash. And then two, in the era of industrial revolution, the abolition of child labor, poor laws, and the growth of trade unions helped family cope with the pressures of mechanized work. This is positive. Two is positive. You write four two. And then you bring the contrast in the era of smart world, however. तो पहले तारीफ कर ली, but there is a however. Universal basic income is not enough. सबको थोड़ा थोड़ा पैसा दे दिया is not enough because then people are also unemployed. And then finally, growing inequality could be matched by a creeping dictatorship that is boosted by technology and the government enters our lives. So 4 2 1 3. Slightly time taking than the others. I think in the exam, 90 seconds or maximum 95 seconds, you would have done the question. If you think that you are just unable to understand, then you should have left the question in like 40, 30 seconds rather. Nahi samajh aa raha, you can't comprehend it well, leave the question and spend that time in doing an RC question. Before we do two more questions, a quick announcement about the Plus subscription. Before the price hike goes up, these are the rates going on, and these two plans are really ideal for a 2022 aspirant. So you could opt for either of them. My code Karishma Live will get you an extra discount on your subscription. And if you're looking for one is to one mentorship, then Iconic subscription will be ideal for you. Let's do the sixth question. 90 seconds on an average, Anu, in CAT. In an NMAT, it's somewhere around 45 seconds. In Snap, it's around 45 to 50 seconds. In IFT, it's around 60 seconds. So it depends on the exam and the level. Don't spend more than 90 to 100 seconds in CAT. बस ये ध्यान रखना, गांठ बांध दो बिल्कुल. Slightly different pattern and therefore easier and quicker. So that I use it to write on the tablet so that my hand doesn't get detected as my fingerprints. Hurry up, hurry up. You have the intro, you have the conclusion. ये तो सबको सही करने का है. Awesome, amazing, perfect. 4 3 2 1. I don't think this needs much explanation, but I'll do it for the sake of doing it. Once upon a time, $3 billion was the magic number that brought the full sequencing of a human genome to life. Today, it has decreased. That's the pair. What? $3 billion has decreased to just a few $1,000s. 4 3 is the pair, right? But how is this done? How do you do genomic sequencing? Answer is given in 2 and 1. You take a teaspoon of blood or saliva, then you use some chemicals, and then you do some tests, blah, blah, blah. And then there are machines that will analyze everything. So you have the footer here and the header here, and the paragraph is ready. Let's do the last question of the day, and we'll call it a day then. Supriya, no, the header will be followed by 4. It is the pair. 3 2 1 आपने ठीक किया है. Last question, come on. Lavanya, revise. Pairs revise करो. छवि इंट्रो गलत है बच्चे. स्नेहा इंट्रो गलत. The government's plan to extend optical fiber to all 6 lakh villages appears to be misplaced. This is the introduction. It's a good question. Because then you're explaining the remaining ideas related to it. Two सबसे पहले आएगा. Then you have new internet services are coming up in the form of giant networks of communication satellites in low Earth orbit. So how a new internet service coming up? पहले ये तो बताओ कि गवर्नमेंट का प्लान क्या है? So the government plans कि optical fiber लगेगा 6 लाख villages में. Then how? Internet services from satellites in low Earth orbit. So therefore two and then four. What comes after this? Three or one? Elon Musk's Starlink project has permission to launch 12,000 such satellites. कैसी? LEO satellites. And other entrepreneurs are warming up to the idea. They're adopting it. Soon, the new LEO networks are likely to be cheaper, faster, and more common. Ubiquitous is common. Why will they become cheaper and faster? Because the other people are also adopting it, warming up to the idea. So 1 3 is also a pair. 2 4 is a pair. 2 is the introduction. Right? Understood. So I've highlighted everything that needs to be highlighted. So I think this was a good practice, and I shall see you on Thursday. Please let me know in the comment section what would you like me to do. I am planning a lot of practice, by the way. Do press the like button if you enjoyed this practice session. I hope it was useful to you, and I shall see you very soon. Please check out the new batches that are happening on Unacademy, and the details of MBA mock test marathon are also there on our website. Please check those out. And I shall see you on Thursday. Till then, keep practicing and take good care of yourself. Do not get tired in the final lap of the race. This is the most crucial lap of the race, and you have to give your best. If you have traveled the journey so far, it is important that you convert the dream be school of your life. With all those wishes, I will wind up here and I shall see you at 7:30 in the NMAT practice class.